prosperity, but forget the records. It's Labor Day, it's Neighbor Day, and these neighbors hate each other's guts.
Oh, they sure do. There will be some animosity in the air today. There's little question.
The last time he said something.
The one guy who's fired up, number 32, James Wilder Jr. He draws back into the lineup with Brandon Burks down. He looks to improve on his 4.2 yard per carry average. One of the guys looking to make life difficult for him. Julian Hauser in replacing an injured Adrian Tracy. Tracy down for the season with a triceps injury. The man that Tracy refers to as Doogie takes over at defensive end.
Doogie Hauser, Orlando Steinauer used to play on both sides of this great rivalry. Labor Days, former Argo, former Cat, now head coach's team. Their best record ever to a Labor Day at 8-2. And Corey Chamberlain, heartbreak last week in Moncton, 1-8. He said, records don't mean anything. This is the pride game. And if they want to take a run, they know they need to run almost the table in the second half. It has to start here. The Argos will kick off. The wind is blowing. The sun is shining. It's the first Monday in September. The Labor Day melee underway at Tim Hortons Field. Frankie Williams brought down near the 18, make that the 28-yard line, and here comes Dane Evans, who has been to a Labor game in the past, but he's been a spectator, hasn't played much, and now he's the starter.
Well, the kid who grew up in Texas knows a thing or two about rivalry football, people being a little bit fired up under the lights. Solid leader. He's demonstrated that in guiding the Tiger Cats.
He'll be missing some key personnel today. No Luke Tasker. Here comes the blitz. There goes the ball. Over the top. Great catch at midfield. And Brandon Banks starts off Labor Day with a bang.
You got to look. Banks moving left to right across your screen in front of the safety. Jermaine Gabriel, perfectly placed pass from Dane Evans into the hands of the Ticats' leading receiver.
They may be going today. He's been underused the last two games, just 5 catches for 62 yards. Fake now, again over the top. And it comes up with the grab down near the 33.
Now the Ticats attacking down those hash marks early on. They'll miss Luke Tasker out of the lineup today. Anthony Coombs making it at that position. Chris Van Zyl, the longtime Toronto Argonaut, plays his first Labor Day Classic in black and gold.
Evans from the gun. Braylon Addison will get the touch out of the backfield, and they'll pick up half the first down yardage, maybe a little more.
Oh, welcome sight for the Toronto Argonauts defense. The return of Cleon Lang in there at defensive tackle. He leads them with 4 sacks.
Ooh, big hit.
Former Cat Abdul Kenna starts at the nickel linebacker spot once again. Injuries lead the Toronto Argonauts to start former University of Calgary star Robert Woodson. He's at the field halfback spot, getting some reps today.
That was a first down on that run. Big hit by Micah Awe. Cats getting close to the red zone, the score zone inside the... Braylon Addison will get the touch out of the backfield, and they'll pick up half the first down yardage, maybe a little more.
Oh, welcome sight for the Toronto Argonauts defense. The return of Cleon Lang in there at defensive tackle. He leads them with 4 sacks.
Ooh, big hit.
Former Cat Abdul Kenna starts at the nickel linebacker spot once again. Injuries lead the Toronto Argonauts to start former University of Calgary star Robert Woodson. He's at the field halfback spot, getting some reps today.
That was a first down on that run. Big hit by Micah Awe. Cats getting close to the red zone, the score zone inside the 20. They've been efficient this season. Going to the end zone. And overthrowing Marcus Tucker, draws in as a starter for Luke Tasker at slot.
Well, take a look at the Heat here. Alway coming up the middle, and this is going to be the challenge for Anthony Coombs, playing running back. Again, a guy who's played running back in college, spent the first part of his career as a Toronto Argonaut as a receiver. But picking up the blitzes, those bigger linebackers down after down, is where he'll be challenged today. All eyes on him in the pass protection.
Here comes the blitz once more. Evans delivers a strike near the 10-yard line. And that'll be another first down. And Speedy B has come to play on Labor Day.
And give Anthony Coombs credit. He's going to move here. This time stepping across to pick up the rush coming off the edge. Gets underneath the pads of Alway just to deflect him wide.
2 catches, 39 yards for Speedy. And now, kicking it to the end zone, walking in, Dane Evans. Dane Evans, the hole opens up, a great counter play. Had everybody going one way, he goes the other.
Yeah, and I love the job the Hamilton Tiger Cats do of mixing up how they attack in the run game. This time it's faking the sweep to Brandon Banks, and you see the impact that's going to have on the defense. They got to get outside. It's going to widen gaps. Things come wide open on the inside off that look for Dane Evans. Could have walked into the end zone as everybody's keying on Brandon Banks. They've got to defend all those gaps with so many different guys who will carry the ball. Whether it's Banks, whether it's Coombs at running back, whether it's Braylon Addison, and that time, Dane Evans.
No team goes for 2 more in the CFL than the Cats, and they'll go for 2 here. 11 for 15 on the season, and success again, Brandon Banks. What a start. 7 plays, 82 yards, 3 minutes out of the chute. Brandon Banks, 2-point convert after the 6-point touchdown.
You see what a big part he is of the game plan today.
Now that might be their check to empty that.
Evans, who took over from Jeremiah Masoli, who tore his ACL and is out for the season. 5th straight start, 3-1 this season. Now the Argos try to answer this. Oh, big hit downfield. And they are coming today, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And it was Curly Gittins who got it from Victor Noir. Valentin Noir. We wait for a call.
Turn the return,
here.
Holding, Toronto number 6, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Now McLeod and Bethel Thompson. So close last week, 40.
Yeah, another heartbreaker for the Toronto Argonauts. It's been a number of close games for them. We talk about Bethel Thompson specifically, though, and I know the boys talked about his stats over the last 3 games, where he has been particularly impressive, averaging 336 yards, completing 75% of his passes, 7 touchdown passes to no interceptions in his last 3 starts, but only 1 win to show for it.
Against a team that leads the league in turnover ratio. Bethel Thompson going deep here. Over the shoulder, Darrell Walker. Will he be caught? Not a chance. What an answer by the Argos.
Welcome to Labor Day.
Yikes. Darrell Walker goes the distance. 96-yard touchdown from McLeod. Bethel Thompson. Touche.
A little bit of suspense on this one as that ball seemed to hang up there forever as Darrell Walker was in behind Frankie Williams. Terrific adjustment and tracking of the ball by Walker to pull that one in. And with the burner, Frankie Williams behind him, Darrell Walker wins the race to the end zone.
Yes, baby. The Argos, unlike the Cats, don't go after a 2-point convert very often. It's early in the ball game. They'll settle for 1. Tyler Crepigna from the 32 for the point after. And what a a start we've got for the 2019 Labor Day Classic, the 49th edition between the Cats and the Argos.
Well, you want to know how Darrell Walker got open? Watch here with the stutter step. He's going to get Frankie Williams to settle his hips. Thinks the ball's going to get thrown in front of him. He jumps it. Walker takes off. Had enough separation that, as I said, with that ball hanging up in the air, he still had a cushion on the DB when he caught that ball.
Darrell Walker, used to some Labor Day dramatics, usually catching balls from Mike Riley. The last few years in the Battle of Alberta, and now here in the clash on the QE.
And I'll tell you what, that's a huge touchdown for the Toronto Argonauts, just from the point of view that this is a team that so often this year has put themselves in a hole in the first half. They've been chasing, and they've done all right in the second half, but it's just they've put themselves at this insurmountable deficit. So to respond right away, show that they're in this game right from the get-go, big for the Double Blue.
That is their first touchdown in a first quarter in 11 straight games. It's almost absurd. Took them that long. This ball is going to bounce into the end zone. Well, they didn't get a two-point convert, but this Rouge ties the game.
Things work out well. Tyler Erpin on the board with back-to-back points for the Argonauts. And now let's see what Dane Evans has got up his sleeve.
Here we go, Tiger in the huddle, Tiger in the huddle.
Guy who was born in Oklahoma, moved to Sanger, Texas at a young age and bounced around. Tulsa Golden Hurricane in college, tried out in the NFL, came north to Canada. Right now he's operating the ship for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Slant pattern, quick hitter. Braylon Addison, who has 3 touchdowns on the year. All 3 touchdowns came in week 2 against the Argos in that shellacking 50-point rout. Don't think that's not on the Argos' mind as well coming into Labor Day.
Well, Addison has become such a focal point within this offense. A guy you need to know where he is because he'll line up in so many different spots.
2nd and 4. Evans now decides to run, puts his head down, and has a first down.
Well, not something we see Dane Evans do a lot, but very good awareness here to recognize that the opportunity is there to get to those sticks. But certainly, when you're already working on your second quarterback, you'd like to see him get down on his own. Not take any unnecessary shots from the Argo linebackers.
Already 6 first downs for the Cats. We're not even at the midway point. The first quarter, double tight end. Now, Evans wanted to go deep. Now he has to scramble, and he's going down, and he's tagged down. It'll go down as a sack. As Evans lost his footing, was going deep, but there was great coverage from the Argos secondary.
Yeah, the Argos back end did a terrific job on that play, blanketing things. Cleon Lang will thank them for the assist on that sack, his 5th of the season.
Lang back in the lineup this week. Argos happy to have him back. It's a good middle of that front 4. Evans back to pass again and dumps it off out of the backfield. And there goes the former Argo, Anthony Coombs, who just got Micah Awe in a big way.
Micah Awe is just a heat-seeking missile out there. Evans off a little bit of a shuffle here, finds his check down option.
Coombs, injury riddled the last few years. Here's a good kick out of bounds.
We'll see where they rule that this ball crossed that sideline, we may get the penalty for the kick out between the 20s.
Looks like it's at the 18. Argo ball. MBT back at it. Off to a flying start. All here at Tim Hortons Field.
Well, you think back to the way the Hamilton Tiger Cats got things started when they first moved into their current home.
Used that a lot last week against the Alouettes, against the grain off that back foot. Has a completion about 6 yards.
Taking a look at the Argo offense, Rodney Smith had a breakout game for the Argos. He was a top receiver last week. The offensive line, relative newcomers at tackles. Jamal Campbell made his first CFL start at tackle last week. The Canadian Rubens Joseph makes his second start at left tackle today.
Walker on 2nd and 2. Looks like he'll move the chains after the S.J. Green reception.
And for the Hamilton Tiger Cats defensively, Dylan Wynn, one of the performers of the week and of the month. The former Argo at defensive tackle has 8 sacks. Former Argo Justin Tuggle at middle linebacker leads the Tiger Cats in tackles. Tunde Adeleke has his first couple of CFL interceptions.
Murray. And now Labor Day has officially begun.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it has. The Hatfields and McCoys are back at it. And James Wilder, who just got back in the lineup.
Well, in a shocking twist, Simone Lawrence is in the middle.
And the flags are flying, and so are the fists.
And S.J. Green's got his helmet off out there, which could draw him another flag.
Here's another flag.
This is a little bit like Oprah. Yeah. You get a flag, you get a flag, you get a flag.
Except on Oprah, they don't throw punches.
Not usually. The crowd here in Hamilton is loving it.
Well, the grudge match. The brawl has officially begun.
You see, if there's anybody that hates the Toronto Argonauts more than the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats fans.
The crazy thing is, there are players on both sides who have played in both colors, and they know exactly what it's like here in the hostile confines of Tim Hortons Field. By the way, they've been tailgating since early this morning. Fans have been ready for this. Now let's just sort this out. Tom Valese, James Wilder, who just got back in the lineup for the Argos, was right in the thick of that. S.J. Green had his helmet off. Here's another look at what transpired.
Yeah, watch Wilder here in the backfield, right on the 30-yard line. He's going to end up blocking Simone Lawrence. The two of them kind of wrestle their way to the ground as Lawrence tries to shed the block. Wilder wants to stay on him. And they've got that Labor Day intensity as they take it to the mat. Both teams see their respective stars on the ground. And the big boys want to get in and support. Things just escalated from there.
Now, will we have players tossed out of this game? You throw a punch, generally, you get thrown out. They may also be looking at the eye in the sky here. Sorting all of this out.
That's so early in the game for ejections. This could have a huge impact.
So again, Frankie Williams was in on the scrum, but they were also players that were very close to our officials. And if an official was contacted in any way, shape, or form, that also elicits an ejection. So,
well, they'll take their time getting this sorted out.
Well, you've got to get it right. Again, you said it. It's early in the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, that you start losing players, then it means you've got guys playing who are playing on all the special teams are suddenly also playing full-time on offense or defense. You may have to juggle with regard to the ratio as well.
You know what time it is.
Very early in the game to have that start. Fatigue can become a factor as the game goes on. There you see James Wilder as he's hot trying to get back in the scrum.
Now an official.
Teammate Declan Cross holding on to him. Just want to make sure that he's not pushing any officials as he's trying to get his way back in there.
That was Tom Valese that went down. Looked more like it was the two players moving back, and then Tom fell to the turf. But again, trying to figure this all out. Usually it's a wash. Usually it's a player each side. Usually it's the same yardage. And usually this happens during Labor Day.
Jagarrett Davis, he's just going to preserve his energy for the football part of today's action.
Jagarrett's been involved in Labor Day tussles before, but again, the other side of the country, part of the Battle of Alberta, which will go later today. Stamps of the Eskimos. Jagarrett's going to get up, and we're going to get back to work here.
Okay, we have number 2, Hamilton, ejected for physical abuse of an official.
Tunde Adeleke.
We have number 37, Hamilton, ejected for rough play.
Frankie Williams.
We have a UR and an OC on number 19, Toronto. We're going to go up 25 yards. It'll be automatic first down, Toronto.
So 2 Cats are ejected.
And 2 Cats from their secondary.
Wow.
So 2 of their starting 5 defensive backs are out of the game. This is a team already playing without Delvin Breaux.
And also one of their feature returners in Frankie Williams. So now they're going to have to do some shuffling. Williams is going to have an early shower.
Yeah. And we'll see if Rico Murray moves to the back end. So this will bring in Mike Daly, veteran starter at free safety. Jay Langa also comes into the game. He was listed as number 3 on the depth chart at safety, the former St. Mary's star. He'll likely move to the nickel linebacker spot, and I suspect we'll see Rico Murray go to halfback. Murray, obviously very versatile player who's played all over the secondary.
Well, this just incites this crowd even more. Ball moves into Hamilton territory. 2 members of the black and gold are done for the day.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing optically to me from a Hamilton point of view, in terms of the initial altercation, it looked to me like Wilder was the aggressor far more than Simone Lawrence. But the Argos benefit in terms of field position and ejections.
Bethel Thompson, sideline. Knocked out of bounds is Armani Edwards. Far side. As the Argos look to make the pay right away, and Richard Leonard is right there.
Argos are in attack mode here. Offensively looking for a big play. You saw the little hitch in the throw, double move. Richard Leonard gets there to make sure that Armani Edwards lands out of bounds.
A department the Argos haven't been very good at this season, among many. Second downs. Bethel Thompson. Out of the backfield. And there is the first touch in quite some time for James Wilder Jr. 2 years ago, Rookie of the Year, Grey Cup champion. He's been lost on the sideline this season.
Well, he certainly has. Effectively losing that starting job to Brandon Burks in recent weeks, but you see the numbers. Significant decline, most notably in terms of that production. 50 yards less of total offense per game.
First down. Runs it down and near the 32. So I'm sure James Wilder to be foaming from the mouthpiece earlier today, and might be getting into it with this guy as well. Simone Lawrence does not shy away from anything.
No, certainly not. Those two will see a lot of each other. No doubt, whether it's in pass protection for Wilder picking up a blitzing linebacker in Lawrence, or whether it's with Wilder running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield. You bet Simone Lawrence will be right there.
Power eye again. Second and 3. Right into a black and gold wall. David Dean, initial impact. And this is going to bring out the kick team, and a good stop here defensively from the Cats.
Watch Simone Lawrence off the edge. Gets a piece of the legs as well. And Dylan Wynn in the middle of that as well. Wynn has been absolutely outstanding for the Hamilton Tiger Cats this season.
Wind howling from the north to the south. Tyler Trepigna with the wind has now made 10 field goals in a row. Has given the Argos the lead. The Labor Day melee. Mike game, the second game of our Labor Day Monday doubleheader. Stamps, by the way, have won 7 straight Labor Days in the Battle of Alberta. Dane Evans and the Cats now down 11-8. Evans back in the pocket. That ball was altered at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be second down here.
And it looked like the former Ticat, Davon Coleman, got a hand on that. You alluded earlier, Rod, to the fact this is the first game in which the Toronto Argonauts have had their inside duo together. Davon Coleman, recently acquired from the BC Lions. Cleon Lang was on the injured list when Coleman came over.
4 receivers to the right for Evans. He looks that way, and the pocket closes, and he's sacked. An Argo team that doesn't sack many quarterbacks. Second last. That's their 14th of the season. And Freddie Bishop and company with a gang sack.
Well, yeah, you're going to see the whole pocket collapse here.
Into the wind. Chris Rainey couldn't see it. Chris Rainey could not see that ball from about halfway through. He was looking right up into the sun, even with that visor. But the Argos get a good starting point here. The sack squad is out in force on Labor Day. Fracas. And so Corey Chamberlain had a bit of a smile as well. And I'm sure Chamberlain wants to see fight from his team. Right now, he says he wanted to raise the temperature. Just win, baby, right now for the Argos. As they head to the back 9 of a season that just got off the rails early. 1-8.
Yeah, a tough schedule for the Toronto Argonauts to start the season. Didn't do them any favors, and that's not an excuse that they've used at all. But you look at their schedule. I mean, they did 3 straight games out west. Obviously a west heavy schedule. Opened the season with a bye.
Second down, Bethel Thompson, tight traffic, almost picked off. Armani Edwards couldn't hang on, and the Cats shorthanded in that secondary, but licking their lips. Rico Murray close to another INT.
Well, I suspect that Dylan Wynn, number 98, was seeking a little bit of payback on James Wilder Jr. for getting a couple of his teammates ejected. He goes straight bull rush here. Scores the takedown.
It's almost a tap out. So remember, no Frankie Williams. That means Brandon Banks is going to handle a lot of the punt returns. That's a big kick by Ronnie Pepper. Banks over to Rome down at the 28-yard line. Cats ball, Argos by 3.
Available intelligent around view monitor and standard rear cross traffic alert. Don't settle for less than the Nissan Rogue.
So it'll be a busy day for Brandon Banks. He's used to this stuff. He used to do it all the time. But he's got an increased load on the offense as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, his situation as a returner has changed as he's become a bigger part of the offense over the past couple of years. As he's become an every down player on offense, he's kind of shared returning duties a lot with Frankie Williams. This will be an interesting one to review. And again, it's an automatic review as the play seems to be called a turnover on the field. Brandon Banks was right in there as well, fighting for the football. So did Washington have control before he went out of bounds? It appears that he did.
An Argo team that has lost the turnover battle essentially every game. Came in minus 18 on the ratio. Looks like he had that ball for him.
Yeah, that's a heck of a play. I mean, it looked like Banks had him by a step, but he closed. Now,
there's the other side.
Is there a late hit or roughing the quarterback? Erdman Reed came in low. Evans kind of going airborne to avoid what, quite frankly, any low hit like that would be called roughing the passer. Well, if you come in low and the quarterback avoids it, I guess you dodge the call.
Argo's trying to put some more points on the board here. After that turnover. They'll run it around the end, and it's Chris Rainey. Gallops far side, ran about 35 yards to pick up about 7 or 8.
Well, defensive end on that side, Julian Hauser just got caught inside, allowing Rainey to use his speed and get around the horn. Turn that into a positive play. 2nd and short now for the Argonauts.
Last minute, first quarter. To get to the 34, did not get there. So now it's a decision on 3rd and 1 for the Argos. Do you take the points? Do you bring out the big men? And you also bring out James Franklin. And Franklin was the starter to begin the season. Got hurt, got into one play last week in his first game back. So Franklin comes in short yardage. Third and 1. Drop the ball. And he's not getting there. And the Argos will turn it back over.
And some will argue that this is the knock against a backup quarterback who hasn't been in the game, coming into the game in these critical short yardage situations, as he doesn't have an opportunity to take snaps.
Cats get the ball back. Turnover on downs. Mistakes. Saw it last week in Moncton, New Brunswick, and touchdown Atlantic. Had a chance to have a big lead before halftime and coughed it up. They cough it up this time again. And Braylon Addison is caught in the backfield. Cleon Lang swallows him up for a loss.
Cleon Lang making up for lost time after a couple-week absence from that Argonaut defensive line. Veteran CFLer, Edmonton native. guy who many would say had been the Argos' best player this season prior to getting injured.
Dane Evans sends everybody out here on second down. Low toss. Are the Cats really will miss Luke Tasker today? Is in that situation. He was and is Mr. Second Down, a clutch receiver in that situation.
Tasker as well, just such a veteran presence for Dane Evans in terms of providing feedback and talking about different looks that he might get and so on.
Wind is swirling here. Former Argo kicker, Lirim Harilahu, helped them win a Grey Cup. Now Rainey trying to find a seam. Cuts back, spins back. Oh no, look at this. Rainey's still dancing. They got a whole lot of something out of nothing. And another good starting point for McLeod, Bethel Thompson, and the Argos. Should the Argos win today? How big of an upset would this be?
We talked about the difference in victories between these two teams. Go back to 1991. A winless Hamilton Tiger Cat team defeating 6-2 Toronto Argonauts. I believe one Matthew Dunnigan was part of those 91 Argonauts, who eventually became Grey Cup champions.
All of our analysts in the house today have all been part of Labor Day Classics. Whether it's here or out west, get a little more amped up on Labor Day?
Yeah, there's something in the air on Labor Day.
There's something in the air here today. It's a little angry. And a guy who might feel some wrath today is James Wilder Jr. crashes for the first down. Again, we've seen, the rough stuff and sometimes fake rough stuff that goes with it, the posturing and posing. That was real. It was game on early on.
Yeah, no question about that. I mean, it's, you think about homecoming games in college or rivalry games, you're playing your crosstown rival in high school, whatever it is. Everyone's just that much more amped up when things get going.
Cloud Bethel Thompson said he was part of one with UCLA and USC. Wasn't playing in that game, but he felt that, told us that this week. A little more amped up, a little more juice in the veins. A little more blood pumping in the body. And a lot more noise from the fans. Bethel Thompson on a crosser. Darrell Walker again, another big first down. And a team that doesn't come up with many big plays. The Argos come up with another one here.
Well, when you see this play, you're going to see James Wilder Jr. goes to the flat, and as Darrell Walker works to the inside, Wilder's flat holds a defender out wide, which helps create a wider window. See, the linebacker has to widen going with that flat route, creating just a little more space for Walker as he comes inside.
1st and 10 from the 31. Bethel Thompson, lots of protection. Tried that back shoulder toss, but it was way wide for Chris Rainey.
Well, 2nd and long means the Argos will go back to their 5 receiver set. You see the numbers for Darrell Walker. Over the century mark very quickly, boosted by that 96-yard touchdown catch. The Argos' opening drive.
Had only one 100-yard game coming in this season. And this could not be caught by Walker. And so once again, the Argos are going to be forced to kick a field goal. This will come against a pretty good breeze. The kick will come from around the 38-yard line, but probably is going to feel about 48. for Tyler Crapigna. Argo team that last week they said kicked too many field goals, could not finish drives. Former Mac Marauder puts it through. Increases the lead to 6 here for the visiting Argos on Labor Day.
Wasn't going to get away with that when he was flagged for objectionable conduct on the play, helping the Ticats out with their start here.
They look both ways and a little dump toss. Works out well, and a guy who doesn't get many touches, Jackson Bennett, former Ottawa GG and a second-round pick for the Cats.
Yeah, Jackson Bennett lined up. He's going to get some looks at running back today in support of Anthony Coombs. This is the guy who was drafted last year. He's kind of a linebacker DB type, played the nickel linebacker spot at the University of Ottawa, an absolute star at that spot, but as they decided to go Canadian and the position shifted him over to add some depth.
Handed off right side again for Bennett. Primarily been used on special teams. He's had 7 tackles this year, but not many touches. Native of Cumberland, Ontario.
A very athletic guy, highly regarded prospect coming out of the GG's program.
2nd and 7. Evans lays it in for Jalen Acklin. Acklin also very good for the Cats this year on second downs. 14 second down catches coming in. Make that number 15 on the season for the former star from Western Illinois.
Yeah, just a quick hitter there. Evans to Acklin. Move the sticks.
Great chemistry, he says, with Dane Evans. Acklin, who was cut by the Cats and re-signed. Kept around. Braylon Addison. Jalen Acklin has a chemistry because he and Dane Evans were part of that second team so often early in the season, and now Jalen Acklin has become a go-to guy.
Well, he certainly has. Back to that highlight reel catch last weekend against the BC Lions.
Second down and 4. From the Argo 33, Cats down 6 and a running play, and they too may have to bring out their kick team here. This would be a kick with the wind. It's going to be 3rd and almost 3 yards. There is no signal yet. Here comes Lirim Hairolahu. So they'll also take the points here. Hairolahu also has played on both sides like his coach of this rivalry. The ex-Argo looking at 86% this season. This from the 39. Kick is up, and it is good. Lirim Hairolahu pulls the Cats within 3. With the Regal in red today. Henry Burris, Ron Smith panel here. Coming up at halftime. Now Thompson to Declan Cross. And a late flag on a late hit. That'll be an extra 15 tagged on. And that's an issue with the Cats this year. They lead in so many
Major
categories.
Foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 30. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Dwayne, they lead in a lot of areas. Offensively, defensively. But they take a lot of penalties.
Yeah, that's the one. Keeping some of those Tiger Cat victories maybe closer than they might otherwise be. You know, bit of a tough call. As you can see, Langa tried to hold up. As you see the position he was in on contact, he tried to hold up. Not sure if Rico Murray's hit was going to take Cross down.
Oh, that almost was MBT's his first interception through 4 games. McLeod Bethel Thompson has been clean. Hasn't been picked, including last week when he threw for almost 500 yards, but they were almost able to jump the route there. Jamal Roll could have gone the distance.
Yeah, Jamal Roll has done a nice job for the Ticats, currently manning that boundary corner spot that is usually the domain of Delvin Breaux. Breaux on the 6-game injured list.
Second down again with a 4-man rush. Bethel Thompson steps up and fires. And Rodney Smith, who had his coming out party last week, a huge game for him. 12 catches, 136 in Moncton. Here's his first catch of Labor Day 2019.
Yeah, Smith, an absolute monster. On the East Coast.
Clutch first down on second down. Bethel Thompson play action again. An Argo team, 70% of the time, Dwayne, will throw on first down. They do not run the football very much.
Well, and it goes along with contributing at least to the statistic of having not scored a single rushing touchdown to this point in the season.
Rodney Smith getting a last-minute instruction.
There's offensive coordinator Jacques Chapdelaine.
Second and 3, throwing again. This time here it is. Oh, no, big catch and a touchdown. The Darrell Walker show continues on Labor Day. Wow.
Tough catch in tight coverage.
Remember last week in Moncton, did the tap dance on the sideline? Did a little more dancing this time.
Here you go with Cariel Brooks right in his hip pocket. Gets the body twisted to make that over-the-shoulder catch.
Well over 100 yards on the day already. And the Argos, like they did last week in the Maritimes, opening up a lead. Can they hang on, though? That's been the story all season. They have a 10-point advantage. McLeod Bethel Thompson, 15th and 16th touchdown passes of the season, both to number 87 in the Labor Day.
39 yards en route to his 2 touchdowns today. That accounts for 64% of the Toronto Argonauts' net offense today.
And in double blue, kick it back. Good return again with Frankie Williams in. So Howard, right, that Marcus Tucker back to return, and Tucker brings it to the 46 of the Argos.
Hamilton Tiger Cats demonstrating their depth in terms of the return game. They've already had 3 different guys with kick return touchdowns this season.
Dane Evans buried once more. Justin Thomas in there. 3 sacks already for the Argos.
There you see Thomas right on the hash mark. Just gets underneath the pads of Darius Sirocco. Drives him back.
Setting up another second and long, 2nd and 17. Evans slinging again for Jalen Acklin, who will be well short of a first down. 13-yard pickup, but 4 yards short. Dane Evans wants to stay out, and they are staying out on 3rd down. Down 10. Big gamble here for Orlando Steinauer.
Philosophically, the Ticats have been aggressive, and even more so since Jeremiah Masoli went out of their lineup.
See if this pays off. Evans in trouble. Down he goes again. Now 4 sacks from the Argos. Justin Herdman Reed has his first. Argo team carrying lots of momentum offensively and defensively right now.
Yeah, well, defense certainly stepping it up. Herdman Reed had tried to time up the blitz. Just mistimed it, but just by a sort of a stutter step. But still managed to get to the quarterback pretty cleanly.
Another turnover on downs. One by each side. Stutter step for Rainey. Tripped up.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, while much of the discussion has been Brandon Burks or James Wilder Jr.
We just getting started. Come on, baby, moment for you, dad for you.
You know, between those two guys at the running back spot, the fact is the last couple games, it's actually been Chris Rainey who has led the Argos both in rushing yards and in carries.
Likely last play before the 3-minute warning before halftime. Here comes the blitz. Bethel Thompson launching it up. Is looking again for Darrell Walker on the fly pattern, but wasn't close.
Yeah, when you look at this, when you see that Bethel Thompson is basically stepping backwards as he's throwing this football, which is why he wasn't able to get enough on it to get it out to Darrell Walker on the sideline. Jagarrett Davis closing on him, forcing him to have to put that one up before he's set.
Bethel Thompson already over 250 passing yards. Not even to halftime. Tough kick this time. Brandon Banks. Meanwhile, chasing him out of bounds. And that will be the 3-minute warning signaled to the sideline. Argos by 10 in the Labor Day Broadway. Yeah, that is beautiful. Milt will tell you that too. 2.5 to go before the half. Braylon Addison hauls it in. Remember a week ago in Moncton, Argos had control of the half and let it slip away. Tempers again in the middle of it. Chris Van Zyl. 10 years on the other side of the QEW.
Well, knowing Chris Van Zyl as we do, it's quite possible that he just said something to get under somebody's skin.
Something very intelligent too. Chatted with him before the game. Loved listening to him on the live mic. He comes up some great lines, one-liners. First and 10 again. Snaring that in Toronto territory. Brandon Banks. Cats going no huddle and up tempo here.
Brandon Banks talked to us yesterday about the velocity of some of Dane Evans' throws. Got a little bit of a look at it right there.
Argos. Rush 5. Evans loses the ball. Did he get it back? No, he did not. Toronto again. And another turnover. Freddie Bishop. As the Argos force a fumble. And the Cats once again cough it up.
Yeah, you'll see Evans carrying the ball a little bit loosely as he goes to step up.
After the fumble, objectionable conduct, taunting, 23 Toronto, 10-yard penalty, the first down Toronto.
By the way, it was Justin Herdman-Reed who came around with the strip. Freddie Bishop with the recovery. David Coleman picked up the flag afterwards. Nonetheless, Argonaut ball at their own 43-yard line.
Here we go. I told you I'll be on this camera again. Hey, they can't stop us. They can't stop us.
Brother Jordan Herdman-Reed playing on the West Coast. Argos trying to put more points on the board. Wilder goes nowhere. Again, an Argo team that has not scored a rushing touchdown. 11 straight games dating back to last year. That's almost unthinkable when you remember 2017.
Yeah. Yeah, it truly is. But again, speaks to the issues that they have had and what they, their search to find a little bit more out of their running back position.
Ethel Thompson escaping. Throws it away the last minute, so the Cats will get the ball back. The waning moments of the first half.
And Garrett Davis in the D. Get the offense off the hook following that turnover. Davis and Dylan Wynn on that Tiger Cat defensive line, proving to be two of the best signings of free agent season.
Big kick by Ronnie Peffer. Brandon Banks mishandles it. And it's a long field now as Banks muffed that. And then it was deflected out of bounds by 16. Down to the 3-yard line. Coverage of the U.S. Open continues tomorrow from Flushing Meadows. Mark Rowe down there for TSN. Men's and women's quarterfinal action round of 16. Action gets underway at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. By the way, Canadian Bianca Andreescu later today against Taylor Townsend.
Come on!
Round of 16. Everybody watching Bianca has become a favorite down in New York.
Orlando Steinauer, he's no stranger to the Labor Day hostilities. We talked about the number of games he's been in as a player and coach.
Evans now from his end zone, and he's stretching it out into traffic. And somehow the Cats are able to come up with that as Addison makes the catch right near the 30-yard line. Dangerous toss by Dane Evans. Back at it. Middle again, and that is picked off. And another turnover. In the clash of the Q, Kadarius Ford has a pick. That is stepping up large here on Labor Day.
Yeah, Evans tries to thread it into too tight a window. Again, ball deflected. Kadarius Ford with a terrific diving effort for the interception. Second consecutive Hamilton Tiger Cat drive ending with a turnover.
Hey, Washington, big assist. Washington also with a pick today.
Hey, Pensacola in the house.
Kadarius Ford out of Pensacola. Led to South Alabama. Ethel Thompson back at work. Pocket closes and he decides to tuck it, take it, and slide it wisely. 56 and counting.
Well,
wow. Jay Langa now down in a depleted, almost bare secondary.
yeah, this is going to require a little bit of juggling. Therese Beverette will be the next defender to come into the game. They can replace the Canadian Langa with an American because Langa replaced the ejected American Frankie Williams in the lineup.
Langa in some pain to that collision.
Yeah, so he'll go out for a minimum of 3 plays here.
Maybe more. See him clutching his left knee. Landed awkwardly. Cats are down on one knee.
Well, and what you're missing, what you're losing, are cover guys. You lose a little bit in coverage skills, obviously, when you take out a guy who plays corner like Frankie Williams, and in terms of the trade-off, you're replacing him with Langa, who's a little bit more the hybrid linebacker type, free safety nickel type of player. You bring Beverette into the lineup now. His true position here is more as a will linebacker, a little bit less the cover type guy, a more physical kind of player.
The way it's going, Orlando Steinauer might have to dust off his old uniform.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if defensive coordinator Mark Washington is maybe forced to play a little bit more zone just based on personnel.
Good sign that Langa is up. We'll try to get a report from Matthew.
You know, you always risk. We talk all the time about next man up and how you hope you don't have to change the package based on making substitutions, but at the same time, you may have to simplify a little bit when you have guys that are moving around to places that aren't necessarily their natural position.
So 2nd down and 5. Cats are going to try to hold Toronto to a field goal. I'm not sure Crapigna has the leg into the wind from here. Bethel Thompson chucking again, and that's much better field position. And once again, Darrell Walker reels it in. 17-yard pickup.
Well, last week it was all about Rodney Smith in the Toronto Argonaut passing game in the first half against Montreal. First half this week, it has been the Darrell Walker show.
Holding up that line into the end zone and overthrows Rodney Smith. Got to know McLeod Bethel Thompson quite well through the years. Actually had a pit stop together in Minnesota, the Vikings a few years ago. Bethel Thompson, he has been around.
Well, both of those guys kind of your classic football nomads.
12 teams in 8 years for MBT. Standing in again. Great protection. End zone. No chance that time.
Yeah, it looked like there may have been an opportunity there to pick up the first down and maybe more had he continued to run with that football. I know as the clock starts to tick down, you get a little bit nervous about doing that. 18 seconds left. Obviously, incomplete pass stops that clock.
S.J. Green, the intended target. Corey Chambliss talked about it. Jim Pop, the GM. This team has talked about it. Inability to finish drives. So it's back to the hero of the 2011 Vanier Cup for Hamilton's McMaster University Marauders, Tyler Crapigna. Playing against a team that he used to see a lot here, I'm sure, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 24-11 with 14 seconds left before halftime. Teenage Head is playing here at halftime. They got a concert.
It takes me back to my youth.
Yes, it does.
Went to one of their concerts after a Toronto Blizzard soccer game in the 80s at Exhibition Stadium.
They're from here. By the way, how about the people of Hamilton today? It's an all-time new record for Tim Hortons Field for attendance. 25,093 SRO. And they'll probably stay in their seats or be jumping around. Teenage Head comes to play at halftime. We'll hear from our 4 teenagers. The panel coming up. Terrell Walker.
Now remember, as we got to halftime last week in Moncton, we found ourselves talking about the Argos missing some opportunities to make that a bigger lead, and it came back to haunt them in the second half.
That's why the Cats would love, if they can, but 8 seconds, all they got really time for is a shot to the end zone.
Well, and now the haunting may not be immediate, but you look at the Toronto Argonauts in the first half of this game, 4 takeaways, 4 turnovers they've created. Just 3 points to show for it.
Dead last in the CFL in that category. Points off of turnovers coming into this game. Jackson Bennett burst. The clock ticks to zeros. 13-point lead. Cats retreat to the locker room. And they'll join Tunde Adeleke and Frankie Williams, who here's Simone Lawrence with Matthew Shinetti.
Simone, you're part of the heart and soul of this locker room. What was the message at halftime?
Just play up to our standard. That first half wasn't our standard. We just got to play up to our standard.
How critical is to stop them coming out of the locker room?
It's real critical. You know, we just got to play Tiger Cat football. You know, with whatever's going on in the game, we're still a better team, and we're still going to able to win this game.
And so many changes in the secondary in particular. What's your message to your teammates?
We're good, man. This is what we're built for. We know we're always going to get adversity. That's just what happens in the Hammer.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you.
Well, they had some adversity early on. 2 players ejected after a bit of a scrap. Lost their free safety and their corner. Tunde Adeleke and Frankie Williams. They've had to use patchwork in their secondary. Argos have only scored 3 points off of 4 turnovers. That could be a factor as we get ready to kick it off here in the second half. Chris Rainey weaves his way from the 20 down the far side, and he's pushed out of bounds by the kicker, Lirim Haralahu, who comes up chirping.
Even the kickers are angry on Labor Day. We'll take a look at the work of McLeod Bethel Thompson. In the opening 30 minutes, his favorite target without question. One Darrell Walker, over 160 yards receiving for the former Eskimo in the first half of this ball game.
Argos will open up with Bethel Thompson again. James Wilder Jr. and a flag flies on the first play from scrimmage. Clouds starting to roll in now. There's a threat of rain in the forecast today. Hope that stays away.
Holding. Toronto number 69. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Storm, though, so far today has been supplied by the Argo, especially their defense.
Yeah, terrific. Heard the boys on the panel talk about it at halftime. 5 first-half sacks. 4 turnovers generated by the Argo D.
Sending out 6 receivers, and Bethel Thompson again, another completion on first down and long. They'll be second and about 5 now. Let's make it 4 yards to go as S.J. Green finds that soft underbelly.
And just a very relaxed throw that looked like by McLeod Bethel Thompson. Just seems so calm, settled, confident in the pocket in recent weeks.
Might run it here, second and short. No, he won't. He's throwing again. Far side, another first down. Terrell Walker. Terrell Walker has only had one 100-yard game coming into today. 9 catches for 188 against Winnipeg. That's the only game the Argos won this season. They hope this trend continues.
Interesting trend set by Steve Daniel as well. CFL's head statistician related to starting field position.
Wilder engulfed.
Now through the first half of this game, the average start had Toronto starting at their own 40, Hamilton starting at their own 34. Doesn't seem like a big difference. But this is, thus far this season, the stat most closely tied to winning in the Canadian Football League is that average starting position. The team holding the edge in that wins 86% of the games, so even more frequently than the team that wins the turnover battle. That's at 72%.
2nd and 9. Bethel Thompson retreating and has to chuck it. Incomplete. 3rd down, likely seeing Ronnie Pepper here. This would be about a 57-yard field goal. So Pepper, who has been really good for the Argos since coming back off the injury list, has not had a ball angled inside the 10-yard line this season. Brandon Banks brings it up near the 22-yard line. Jagera Davis trying to get to McLeod, Bethel Thompson, but the Cats sack squad sackless so far here on Labor Day in the Hammer.
I guess subtitle of that story would be that the Argos haven't really been able to capitalize. Only 3 points to show for those 4 turnovers.
On Poto, points off turnovers. Give you an idea, 40. Calgary Stampeders lead the CFL in points off turnovers. 77 points coming into this week. Coming into this game, the Argos, 9 points off of turnovers all season. Now make it 12. They've only put up 3.
Yeah, there are obviously a number of factors that go into a 1-8 midseason record. And that's just one of the many.
Yeah, big one. Dane Evans has got to find a way to alleviate some of the pressure from that Argo D. Here they come again. There goes the ball, and a completion for a first down. Jalen Acklin looks like he got banged up. He's very slow to get up. Wants to stay in, though. Here's a guy who's here since late last year. Got a look. Finally gets into the lineup. Doesn't want to get out of that lineup. He's going to take a knee, though, and go down.
A little juggling. This should bring in Justin Sumter. Playing his first game of the season.
Acklin, part of a receiving corps, got banged up at the beginning of the year, and
put your hands together for Jalen Acklin.
Made a Springfield. Sorry, there's Luke Tasker. They could use him today. Luke Tasker has been Mr. Labor Day for the Cats. 4 career Labor Day games, 29 catches, 447 yards with 3 majors.
You definitely don't like hearing the news for any game that Luke Tasker is going to be on the shelf, but given that production, it's especially a significant loss on this rivalry day.
Hamstring issue this week. First place Cats trying to battle back in this one, extend their lead, extend their streak on Labor Day. Inside to Marcus Tucker. Tucker on an inside streak. Romps, big game, big play from the Cats. What a good call.
Well, And this will go down as a pass as that shovel to Tucker goes forward. But the fact is, to me, this is just another way of running the football. Get a different guy running the ball, coming from a different spot in the formation, and attacking a different gap, a different POA. Mix it up as much as you can.
Oh, and a reverse this time. And it's going to be spied perfectly. And a minimal gain for Braylon Addison.
Yeah, Addison did well to turn that into a positive play because the Argos defended it perfectly.
Thought maybe we might see some of last week in that triple reverse flea flicker play.
Yeah, watch Robbie Smith off the edge. Very disciplined play. Contain, contain, contain. He stays on that edge. Doesn't make the tackle, but gets there to hold things up. Great job by the Laurier product. This was a guy who followed in the footsteps of Kwaku Boateng at Laurier, becoming that program's top pass rusher.
Evans, the flat far side. And Nikola Kalinic makes his first catch of the day, his 6th of the season, already has a touchdown. So Kalinic drawing in here. Big fullback who played at York. U Sports season underway as well.
Yes, sir. Western Queens tonight in London. Don't know if Chris Cuthbert is up for a little wager.
It's going to be a little busy. It's Tommy Condell, and it's 3rd down, but Interim Harilahu is out. This is against the wind, but it has been swirling. Wind's kind of changed here. Harilahu, plenty of leg, as long as it's 56. From the 50 to pull closer, he does. Barrels it through. Harilahu. Drive stalls. Reliable foot. Dane Evans the holds. The kick puts 3 more on the board. Makes it a 10-point game on Labor Day.
I like
Yes,
Pat.
they did.
Hall of Famer Doug Flutie, Hall of Famer Pinball Clemens, Hall of Famer Mookie Mitchell.
James Wilder behind cover. Well, I know one guy who's undefeated during Labor Day. Dwayne Ford, 3 Labor Day classics.
You guys are really digging into the archives these last couple of weeks, eh?
Look at the footage here. 37 in Hamilton.
That was my tribute to Warren Hudson, by the way.
Yes.
One of my favorite players.
Jimmy Ralph coming off his first touchdown last week in Moncton. That one will not result in a first down and is incomplete. Talk about a fingertip effort.
Well, no question. Labor Day football, a very special thing in the Ralph household.
Yes, it is. I'm sure they're watching in Raymond, Alberta, south of Calgary and Lethbridge. 3 brothers of Jimmy were all players. 2 of them played in the Canadian Football League. More on that story and much more as Labor Day 2019 continues from Hamilton. See, on Labor Day, I feel like really working a whole lot on these promos.
I get it.
It's a holiday.
I get it.
These guys are putting some work in. Cats have to work their way back. Down 10. Dane Evans looks one way, goes the other. And wide open on the far side is Addison. And a lot of pressure last moment. Dane Evans just able to connect.
Well, you worry a little bit. It's such a long throw. Went to that wide sideline. It gives you an indication of just how all alone Braylon Addison was over there.
There is an injured player. Looks like Marcus Tucker. They're going to have to wait. He's near the Hamilton sideline. I'm not sure where he he went down. Nate Evans, by the way, started this game 12 of 17 in the first half. Second half's been perfect.
Yeah. Evans settling in. Look at the Hamilton Tiger Cats injury list already coming into this football game. And you think about the bodies they've lost today, both through ejection and guys getting nicked up.
Here it is, way away from the play.
Keep an eye. Here is Marcus Tucker.
It looked like he might have pulled a hammy or something.
Yeah, well, it looked almost like the
calf muscle. Pitch it. Running inside once more is Jackson Bennett. Getting his most touches of the season.
Jackson Bennett doing a nice job over on the offensive side of the ball this season. Nice bit of misdirection there.
Big romp, first down. Cats with their claws out here past the midway point of the third quarter. Scratching back, double tight ends. Evans pulls it back, and again, he's ripped down once more. And this time it's Kenneth Gilchrist with his third sack in 2 weeks.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of in the way of screen draw, but I thought there might have been a bit of an opportunity here as the running back Jackson Bennett releases out on a swing. Nobody goes with him. Now, obviously, as a quarterback, you got to go through your progression, and that's a little bit later in the progression. But had he got to that point, Bennett is wide open.
Was a silencer here. Crowd's been quiet. Home team trying to get them back in. Evans, quick release. Anderson in stride down to the 10-yard line. Now they're up. 13-yard pickup. 6 to go in the third. First trip to the red zone since the opening drive of this ball game.
You know, I've been saying this all season, but you know, he's often overshadowed because he plays in the same receiving corps as Brandon Banks, and there's some overlap in terms of their skill sets. But Braylon Addison is so important to this team offensively.
Touchdown! Justin Sumter has his first CFL touchdown on his first CFL catch.
Oh, what a way to get it started for Justin Sumter. Big target amongst the many smaller Cats receivers. They take advantage of his size here. 6'4" body, and comes into the lineup in place of the nicked up 5'10" Marcus Tucker. And they put it up high and let Justin Sumter go get it.
So it looks like the Argos are challenging here. Scoring plays are reviewed.
It was offensive pass interference on the play. We'll review the play.
Is this offensive pass interference? Sumter, and they may have a point here. Kind of just a tap, really. Qdarius Ford. Sumter, who's hardly played for the Cats, trying in this week out of Kennesaw State University, the former Owl, but it's to CFL command now.
Justin Sumter. We take another look. He's coming out of the slot. Just above the numbers. Get outside release. I mean, initially it looks like it looks like a little bit of hand fighting, and as much as anything, honestly, it looks like he's trying to get the defender's hands off of him. So is there a little bit of a push? Yes. Because you'll see he gets fully extended right here, but they've got hands on each other.
What is it? Is it a touchdown?
I mean, you can see that
interference.
You definitely see that he extended his arm, and that created a little bit more space.
Oh, don't do me like that, man.
That souvenir football might be coming back. You heard him. Don't do me like that, man.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one because I think it initially starts off as hand fighting between the two guys.
Here's Tom Valese.
After review, we have offensive pass interference. Hamilton, number 85. 10-yard penalty, the first down.
Wow. Just like that, Sumter's first is erased. Back on the field.
Kadarius Ford, the man in coverage, is vindicated. Ticats will go after it again, but 10 yards back. So first and 20 for Hamilton.
Sumter's catch is taken off the board. In his first CFL game, first CFL catch. Evans. Far side. Brandon Banks. They'll go down to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, no touchdown, no problem for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
So they can still
Terrific
get a
response.
first down. It's 2nd and 4, but they like to punch this baby in. Mike Jones comes into the huddle with the play.
Signal line coming back there.
2nd down and 4 from the 5. Evans swings it out. Addison should score. Will score. Touchdown, Ticats. Maybe he can give the ball to Justin Sumter.
Consolation prize. I think Sumter will just be happy to see his team recoup the touchdown. Addison starts in the backfield. He's right behind the goalpost, moving to the right edge of the screen. He's the trailer with a couple clearing type routes in front of him. Maine Washington with him in coverage, but as you saw, Addison with a lot of field with which to work makes him miss.
Merrim Hairelahu puts it through barely. Team that doesn't go after the 1-pointer too often, but the math counts and works. It's a 3-point ball game. Cats roar back here. Braylon Addison to the end zone, to the house. Addison looking at the tablet. And what was a 13-point lead. Now just 3. Argos haven't scored in the 3rd quarter. Curly Gittens. Laurier Golden Hawk on the return. McLeod Bethel Thompson hasn't had many series here in the 3rd.
Yeah, thus far, just under 4 minutes time of possession for the Argos. Hamilton, 6 minutes and 20 seconds thus far. When you think about the way this game started, The Argos were able to respond when Hamilton came out and scored on their first drive. Let's see if they've got a response right now.
And see if the defense tightens the screws. And Darrell Walker been the X factor, the factor for the Argos today. Gigantic game for 87. Another first down.
Darrell Walker is one of those guys we saw it on the 96-yard touchdown. You've got to give him a little bit of space out of respect for the speed that he has. He runs the underneath route very well also.
Closing in on a 200-yard receiving day, a running play here. Knocked out of bounds late by Justin Tuggle, and a flag flies. That's another 15. And again, we talked about the discipline. Argos are walking back to their bench, but this Cat team, second last in the league, coming into week 12 in penalties.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 22. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Second most penalties, second most penalty yardage. A lot of penalties again today. Walker was way out of bounds. Oh, and that photographer as well. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, boy.
That's going to land our photographer on the 6th game.
Yeah, we wish him the best. Gotta be careful down there.
Yeah, shot directly from the side, buckled that knee inward.
Declan Cross.
Yeah, first carry of the season for Declan Cross.
A couple of years ago, including Grey Cup season, former Mac Marauder. Very involved in the offense at times, particularly bubble screens, screenplays. Might see some of that if he gets back in. Big body.
Yeah, Oakville, Ontario native. Knows this rivalry well, living about halfway between these two cities.
Second and 8. Bethel Thompson lays it in once more. S.J. Green, clutch second down catch. His 16th second down reception of the season among the league leaders.
Keep an eye on S.J. Green. Working towards the sideline. Good protection for Bethel Thompson.
Tampa, Florida native, played at South Florida. I'm sure, like many of the players from Florida, thinking about friends and family right now with Hurricane Dorian bearing down on the Florida team. Bethel Thompson hanging in, going down.
And the streak continues.
Dylan Wind celebrates once more. And the first sack of the ball game couldn't come at a more opportune time for the Cats.
Dylan Wind coming off 3 sacks in his last outing.
And the Wind dance.
Yeah, 4-game sack streak. When it comes to one-on-ones, all he does is win.
Oregon State product. 9th sack of the season. There's a screen. Wilder. Simone Lawrence.
Fantastic play by Simone Lawrence.
Told Matthew. What did he say? Cats live on adversity.
Yeah, not a bit of worry from number 21, top left corner of your screen. Splits the 2 defenders to come through and make that tackle. Or excuse me, 2 blockers.
So now, another Mac Marauder, Tyler Perpignan. The wind's kind of changed here. Earlier in the ball game, this would have been with the wind, and now he's against it, and he just puts that through. Restores a 6-point lead for the Argos on Labor Day.
Bad Child, the sign-up EP out now featuring Breathing Fire. Listen now on Apple. beautiful music.
I got you. We're not worrying about none of that.
There is a focus.
It don't matter who y'all take out the game. That shit came straight from the command center.
And fierce Simone Lawrence. Battle lines drawn today. Wow, Bethel Thompson. Look back at that last series. Dean Evans sends out 6 receivers. Quick slant. Braylon Addison become a factor here in the second half. 10 straight completions now for Dean Evans. Cats have been really good up-tempo, no huddle. This time they go Wildcat. Braylon Addison for a first down. Addison goes behind center into the gun.
We talked yesterday with Dane Evans about the creativity of his offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell. He said, you know, a lot of coaches, when you take them ideas as a player, they're looking for reasons not to use it. How can I avoid doing this? He says, you take an idea to Tommy Condell, and Tommy tries to figure out, how can we make this work?
Or even better at times. 4-man rush, Evans. Now, snowed under once more. And another Argo sack. Davon Coleman has his second as an Argo in his second week as an Argo. That is 7 Toronto Argonauts sacks in this ball game.
Argo defensive line in particular doing a terrific job. We talked about the impact you might get with Coleman and Cleon Lang working together on the interior.
Evans over the top. And again, another first down. Speedy B on the final play of a third quarter owned by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but they're still 6 behind. The Argos poised for an upset here on Labor Day. The Classic. The 905 against the 6. Steeltown against Hogtown. The Big Smoke against the Hammer on Labor Day.
Against Montreal was about mistakes made at critical times. You know, you look in a football game at how a game comes down to a handful of plays, often just 3 to 5 plays making the difference. Somebody may have an opportunity to make one of those 5 plays in the fourth quarter for the Toronto Argonauts, whether it's offensively, defensively, or on special teams. They need that play to be made when the opportunity presents itself.
Well, think about this for a second. 4 Hamilton turnovers, 7 Argo sacks. And on this drive, the Tiger Cats could take the lead.
Yeah, and that speaks volumes about what has been one of the Argos' issues. Not making plays when the opportunity presents itself, not taking advantage of those chances.
Evans, quick hitter, Addison again. Guy who just seems to drill holes into the Argos' boat every time he plays. They'll move the sticks once more early here, fourth quarter.
Dane Evans in the second half of this ball game has certainly found his groove. Braylon Addison emerging as his favorite receiver.
Over at the University of Ottawa, and I'm saying, what were you doing playing this guy on defense? Jackson Bennett has been fantastic today. Great burst, great explosion. See a powerful guy running through some tackles.
Now the point after to take the lead from Hairolahu. The tug of war continues. The grudge match continues. The rivals are going punch, counter punch. Jackson Bennett, the young guy from Cumberland, Ontario, the Ottawa Gigi, has given the Cats the lead.
Nicely set up with that draw look. With the success that they have had throwing the football here in the second half.
Now the Cats conquer adversity once more. But as we've seen from the Argos, they've got a lot of fight in them today. This pride game on Labor Day, which has turned into a classic. First rating engulfed early on. There's Valentin Ganoa right there, number 77. We heard Dave Naylor's story about Brandon Collier and all of the players overseas right now. How about Noah? A guy who came to Canada, played at McGill, but he's from overseas. He was the number 1 pick in the Global League draft.
Yeah, number 1 pick in the first ever European draft. Took him a while to get into the Ticats lineup. But once he was completely healthy, Ticats were able to play him regularly on special teams, and you're seeing him making an impact.
He's been downfield quickly. Nothing doing there. Noah, by the way, born in France. Played in McGill for 1 season, 2 seasons with the Berlin Rebels of the German Football League. And a few of those global players got a chance this year. Great for the CFL. Great for players around the world. Key second down and 9. Bethel Thompson avoided the sack. Swatted away.
Avoided the sack, but not the hit.
That mouthpiece comes up on Bethel Thompson once more.
Watch Jared Davis coming off the left side of your screen from his defensive end position. Quick swim inside. There's that left hand, not hitting the football, but hitting the throwing arm of McLeod Bethel Thompson to disrupt the throw.
So now, the field shifting. Ronnie Peffer drills a missile. Addison is back. Brought down near his 30-yard line. 1-point ball game. Forever rivals. Jackson Bennett, CFL first in the Labor Day Classic.
Junior before the game, and he said, looking at Darius, who is battling leukemia, gives me perspective. All these things I've dealt with the past couple of weeks are not important. Darius and what he is showing me gives me perspective and a love for this game, guys.
Yeah, what a great story. Jackson Bennett carving his own story today. You know, the best part of this story is there's a flag down late. Is back at BMO Field when the Argos were playing, and there's Darius. Razzle-dazzle, they're calling him now. And Darius was at the Argo game against Winnipeg, and he had a sign that said, "Hey Argos, I beat cancer."
After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 84. After this is the goal. First down.
The sign said, "Hey Argos, I beat cancer. You can beat the Bombers." And James Wilder saw the kid. He wasn't playing, brought the kid to the sideline. That's how that friendship first developed. So, Darius, if you're watching, we're thinking about you. We're wishing you the best. And that was a great touchdown run, young man.
It sure was. You know, Jim Pop brought legends like John Bowman and S.J. Green into the league. But I think he'll tell you that's his best signing ever.
Yes, it was. That young man's day in life. Nice cutback by Braylon Addison. A huge first down here. Clock ticks to 11 and a half. Plenty of time still. A game that's had lots of offense. Big plays so far. You have a feeling it's going to be the defenses that might decide this. Ability to hold. There's another inside shovel to Brandon Banks off the edge.
Well, Brandon Banks will get the yards. Chris Van Zyl gets the helper on this one. Right tackle's going to pull around. Leading the way and manages to hook the linebacker on the edge. Pins him to the inside, allowing Banks to bounce it. Gets on the outside shoulder, as you saw, of Ian Wild. Darius Sirocco, the right guard, also doing a good job there, pulling around to take the defensive end.
Ian Wild being looked at. Argo linebacker. This will require some shuffling again. Probably see a good dose of 51. Micah Awe next little while. The Argos down one here in the Labor Day Classic in the Hammer. So it'll be interesting to see how Bo Levi Mitchell makes out today for the Stamps. Bo will go. 1 point Hamilton lead. Dane Evans connecting once more. Braylon Addison stepping up large here in the second half. And so is this guy, Dane Evans. Sprung his team to life. Look at that, 16 in a row.
Dane Evans has got that Labor Day feeling going.
His last pass in the first half was an interception. Went into the locker room and obviously corrected things. Along with Tommy Condell and the Cats, their offensive plan has worked to perfection so far.
You know, and this is, to me, kind of a symbol of the growing confidence, growing belief of Dane Evans, that just that ability to shake off a mistake and come back like this in the second half of the ballgame. Then this is a team that turned it over 4 times in the opening 30s.
There's another foot race. Marcus Tucker down to the 15. Actually, they're going to mark him out just outside the 20. But Tucker, who was nicked up, crossing patterns, 17 in a row now. And how about second half conversions on second down? Now 7 of 8 for the Cats.
Yeah, remarkable turnaround. Marcus Tucker pulling out all his dance moves after that one. Firing up this Labor Day crowd.
Evans, 18 in a row. Jackson Bennett. Dane Evans is channeling his inner or outer Jeremiah Masoli, who now has the CFL record for most consecutive.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it.
That's like a no-hitter, but
that's right.
They mentioned that yesterday with Justin Verlander, so I don't buy any of that stuff.
Defensive tackle Justin Thomas down for the Argonauts. Maybe not bad timing. Get a little bit of a break for his defensive teammates. Perhaps give them an opportunity to regroup while he recovers.
Corey Chamberlain has to be concerned now. And a team team that has been so fragile, certainly mentally, in this 2019 season, the 1-8. So many opportunities to pull games out, including last week. They're in it here, now their defense has to go to work. So Evans, 18 straight completions.
Don't say it. Now, I will take a minute. We were talking about, of course, the second half of our Labor Day doubleheader coming up next. Some great college football on the network tonight as well. A little bit of Canadian content. Notre Dame plays Louisville on a few TSN channels, featuring wide receiver Chase Claypool from Abbotsford, BC. Great weekend of football. Watched Neville Gallimore of Ottawa and the Oklahoma Sooners last night. Yes, sir. Saturday, watched that Oregon game, featuring Canadian safety for Oregon, sophomore Javon Holland.
So basically what you're saying is you spent the whole weekend on the couch.
I really did.
That's good.
I really did.
And we're glad you're spending it with us as well out there, wherever you're watching. Here in Canada and in the U.S. Happy Labor Day to you all. Guess what, kids? You see it? Where those kids say, guess what? They're going to school tomorrow. Too bad. So sad. There they go. That's it. This is the last run.
Yeah, live it up now, boys.
Yeah. You know what's great, though, is that they moved this game. And we liked that last couple of years. It was a night game, but it prevented so many kids from seeing the Labor Day Classic because they had to get ready for school.
Agreed. The afternoon game is a great thing. Family friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Given the timing. You know, and really part of the reason I think they moved it up as well is to allow for lightning delays, because anytime you and Stiegel are in the same place, it seems to happen.
Don't see anything. Dane Evans streaking, but trying to find the end zone. 19 in a row for a touchdown. And Braylon Anderson does it to the Argos again. Anderson has 5 touchdowns in 2019, all against the double blue.
Argo killer. Good protection allows Dane Evans to be patient, waiting for that route to develop. Addison with his second of the day, as you mentioned, 5th of the season. All in 2 games against the Toronto Argonauts.
Pats have sprung to life in this second half. Still a 1-possession ball game, but now up 8 on Addison Day, Labor Day, Dane Evans Day.
Just summing up the feelings of Toronto Argonaut fans at this moment and really throughout the season to date.
Rainey back to return with Gittens. Runs into a black and gold scrum. Still lots of time, though. So we know that the Cats can handle this adversity in the second half, but can the Argos now?
Looking back at the touchdown, you anticipate you're going to get man coverage here. You've got the inside receiver is essentially going to create traffic, and you're going to see Braylon Addison working underneath. What it's going to do is cause a defender. Abdul Kenna, I believe, is the man in coverage. He gets caught up in the traffic. This is the whole point of what the inside receiver is trying to do, is create a logjam that Kenna has to run around to try and follow Addison to create separation.
Pocket closes. Bethel Thompson is able to connect right at the first down, and the swing by Ramoni Edwards. And that might have drawn a flag. There's no flag on the play as Edwards took a swing there after the completion to Tyrese Beverett.
The Hamilton fans, I think, are still holding a little bit of animosity and curiosity about the scuffle in the first half that led to 2 Tiger Cats being ejected and no Argos even being penalized.
That's how this one all started. Peppers flaring early, 2 Cats ejected. Hamilton down 13 at one point. Now they lead by 8. Protection for Bethel Thompson. Has to hold on and run out of bounds or slide out of bounds, close to a first down. This is what you like to see if you're an Argo fan, though. The patience of McLeod Bethel Thompson. Still time, 1 possession. If they have been guilty of anything in the past, it's been trying to get all back quickly downfield.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that there is, regardless of the record, I think a greater sense of belief maybe from the Toronto Argonauts offense that they can get the job done.
Here's the pitch. Look out. James Wilder bouncing. Now cuts back again, and Wilder trying to scrape for the first down is going to be short. James Wilder, who's hardly played over the last month, got his exercise on that one.
You see McLeod Bethel Thompson get in there trying to throw a block.
So Ronnie Pepper's going to try to kick for some field goal position here. Been able to pound the ball today. Difference maker in the second half has been Braylon Addison. Blood's been running hot under the heading Bad Neighbors.
Yeah, it began early. James Wilder and Simone Lawrence kicking things off. This scuffle led to a couple of Tiger Cats being ejected. And let's just say that the bad blood has continued throughout. Big hits, some pushing and shoving, lots of yapping.
Everybody always talk about he do this, he do that. Well, why can't talk about
Orlando Steinauer is playing for both teams in the Classic. See if Dane Evans can keep his streak going. But
so I'll tell you, back 2001 Labor Day Classic, Argos against Hamilton. Orlando Steinauer was a Toronto Argonaut. At the start of that 01 season, so too was Archie Amerson. So the two of them were roommates while playing with Toronto. But Amerson gets released and rejoins the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but the two of them are still roommates. Well, Labor Day, they're playing against each other. The two of them end up in a scrap out on the field. That's how heated Labor Day gets.
Oh, and a great chance for the Argos. Burden and Reed had a chance to take that. Had he been able to hang on, that might have gone to the end zone.
Well, and
that's the first incompletion after 19 straight by Dane Evans.
I need the white.
19 straight completions for Dane Evans.
I need the white, gentlemen.
4th longest streak in Canadian Football League history.
Longest by Jeremiah Masoli, the guy he has taken the reins over after Masoli went down and out with a torn ACL. That streak has helped propel the Cats back. Here's a game changer though. Rainey slipping on the turf at the 40. And there's another tussle and another flag.
I'm amazed that guys don't have the restraint. And I know it's an emotional game. Been there, done that. But a one-score game with under 5 minutes to go, that guys are going to risk taking emotional penalties at this time.
They're still chirping on the sideline. barking at each other. And again, this all started early in the ball game, and it just has continued throughout. Connor McGough got to Rainey first.
Yeah, Rainey taking exception, feeling that a couple of other Cats had maybe
after the play,
piled on.
major foul, unnecessary roughness. Toronto number 2. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now Cat fans a little more appreciative of that call. Just seeing 2 of their own ejected early on.
Chris Rainey's a veteran guy and needs to make a better decision than that in this situation.
Sidelined right now.
All right, we talked about the importance of field position and starting points of offensive drives.
Temple Thompson pump and go on the far sideline. Clock ticks to under close to 4.5. Rel Walker was the Braylon Addison of the Argos in the first half. Then Addison started his highlight reel, both of them with a pair of touchdowns in this game. Likely see more of Walker. He's over 200 yards in receiving in this ball game.
A new career high for Darrell Walker.
Temple Thompson streaking now for Walker, who can't run under that one. Setting up a critical second down once more. Had him though.
That looked almost as if Walker, who's the outside receiver, going right down the numbers. There's just a split second there where it looked like he might have eased up. Not sure if it would have made enough of a difference for him to get to that ball.
Two guys who are candidates for performers of the week. Addison and Walker. Who will win the 2019 Labor Day Classic in Hamilton? Under 4. Blitz comes. Temple Thompson again. Underthrows. They'll have to kick this away.
Yeah, it looked like cross signals there in terms of what they were anticipating happening with coverage.
Bad news for the Argos as they give up a valuable possession. And think about the starting point. That penalty was costly too. Good news for the Argos is Ronnie Pepper's done a really good job pinning the Cats. He's got to do it again. Up seconds on that clock. Those are seconds they might need. This is off the side of his foot. Bounces out of bounds, and that's not a good kick. Great start now for the Cats near their 45-yard line. I'll catch all the sports news on your mobile device with TSN's Digital SC, presented by Advil Mini Gels, hosted by Marissa Roberto. Just go to @TSN_official on Instagram and check out the stories, features for the latest from around the sports world. Digital SC presented by Advil Mini Gels, weekdays at 3. So the Argos just 3 points in the second half. It's been all Dane Evans, calls his own number. Evans with running room and a good block downfield from Jalen Ackland. Springs him for a first down and almost field goal position already.
Nice effort right there. Good decision making from Dane Evans.
And Dane Evans.
If you could correct one thing or change one thing, you might like him to do a little slide and stay in bounds.
That Wildcat again. Addison trying to run out of trouble. He's not going to be stopped for a loss. And that next play on second down is going to be a crucial one when we come back. It's the 3-minute warning. Labor Day, Neighbor Day, Bad Blood Day between these two teams. Started early, keeps on going. Cats try to send their Labor Day win streak to 6 in a row. by. Grey Cup rematch, return of Bo Levi Mitchell. Live mics are on. Second half of our Labor Day doubleheader. Also trying to end a losing skid in the Labor Day Classic. Crucial second down here for the Argos D. Dane Evans stepping up now, trying to get to that first down marker. He will, sliding forward. Will they measure this? Just might be a little bit short. 2:39 to go. Key for this was putting them back in field goal position.
It's like Dane Evans was so mad that he threw an incomplete pass. He's just going to run the rest of the game.
They may measure.
A couple of big plays there from the Ticat quarterback. He's eating up some clock, moving the sticks.
And it will come down to, if they're short, they are
just
a third down play, which would eat up more clock, but a stop almost necessary now. Cats continue to kill the clock. They had a field goal, and they could put this out of reach. So Evans retreats to the sideline. David Watford comes in, short yardage quarterback out of Hampton. Saw earlier the Argos when James Franklin came in, hadn't handled the ball, and they fumbled it. Cats have to secure it. They only need a couple inches. Watford behind center. And the push should be enough. Just enough. Looks like they'll spot it at the 35. They'll move the sticks. You got to think the Cats might be a little conservative now here. Don't want to do anything silly and risk an interception or a turnover.
Well, this is at a chance well within the field goal range of Liram Hajrullahu to turn this into a 2-score ball game. As the clock ticks down towards 2 minutes.
Cats have secured the football in the second half. No turnovers after 4 in the first. They'll hand it off, and Brandon Banks will run into Herdman Reed. Set up another second down. 2:05 to go.
Yeah, well, we talked about being conservative. This will be an interesting play call in second and long to see what the Ticats elect to do.
You got a reliable foot in Hajrullahu. You got an 8-point lead. I don't think you want to mess with fire here.
Yeah, I mean, I quite honestly would be inclined to
get into a good spot for the kick.
Yeah, do a run play that's going to put the ball in the middle of the field.
That's what they'll do. Oh, it's smothered. Backfield. Tackle for a loss. And Gilchrist is there again, so Hajrullahu is going to come out. 144. Chris Rainey is going to go back. And remember what Rainey can do on a miss. He's done it before. Hajrulahu's perfect today.
Well, and bear in mind that even a single point makes it a two-possession
game. You got to get it out. Liram Hajrullahu, good chance to seal this right here. Kick is up, and it is good. Now the Argos are going to need a whole lot of help from the Labor Day football gods. They've got to score. They've got to get a 2-point convert. They've got to get a field goal. Not necessarily in that order, I guess. But they haven't got much time to work with. And let's go back to something you said as we were going to halftime, and how it's come back in 2 weeks in a row to bite the Argos. Last week in Moncton, a 16-point lead. Looked in control. Didn't take advantage. This week, they had a 13-point lead. Only 3 points off of turnovers. Did not take advantage once more.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. Against good football teams, when you have an opening, when you have an opportunity to make plays, to score points, you've got to make the most of those opportunities, because good teams are eventually going to get going. Right? The last 2 weeks, I talked earlier about Toronto's schedule and how they played a lot of the West teams on the road early in the season, and that's a tough start for them. But now they're playing head-to-head games against the East, a chance to move up in the standings. And they've missed opportunities against teams ahead of them the last 2 weeks in Montreal and Hamilton.
Now the Hamilton Tiger Cats, minute 15 away from securing their 9th win.
Hey, yo! Hey, yo!
Six in a row on Labor Day.
What's up?
Spoiling the Darrell Walker show. What a first half he had. Argos absolutely flatlined offensively in the second half. The guy who was the busiest was their punter, and that's not a good thing. Trying to make a lunging catch was Armani Edwards. Winnipeg losing yesterday to Saskatchewan. Great Labor Day tilt. Mosaic yesterday. Bombers now 8-3. Hamilton moments away from having the best record in the Canadian Football League. Ethel Thompson again, standing in out of the backfield. Wilder, straight arm, trying to drag the defender. So they'll be just shy, it looks like, of a first down, or will they? So the key right now is first down. And very close to a face mask. Almost a horse collar there. Argos have used a challenge already. So it was a first down. Now Rodney Smith, underutilized this week. Just his second catch after a dozen grabs a week ago. 55 to go. Argos have to find a way to the end zone here.
Yeah, the Tiger Cats will be somewhat content to give the Argos small chunks here, as long as it keeps that clock moving.
They have been able to stretch it vertically with Walker. Go far side, and that was almost ball game in the midst of Rico Murray. Second down. Now becomes ball game here. Third down and 5. 50 to go. Ethel Thompson trying to bark it through the noise here. Tim Hortons Field.
Ticat bench shaking on their fans.
Ethel Thompson. Armani Edwards can't get it. And neither will the Argos. But for the second straight week, see their boat fall to the bottom after giving up sizable leads. 16 a week ago, 13 here today. An explosion by the Tiger Cats in the second half. You can point to Braylon Addison for those 19 completions in a row by Dane Evans.
Yeah, Dane Evans caught fire.
And again, the Argos' inability to put teams away or build bigger leads. How about a milestone day for that young man, Jackson Bennett? souvenir, so we can pencil it in. We'll put it in permanent marker now. Hamilton 9-2. Cats off to their best start quite some time. Best start to a Labor Day ever.
Yeah, feels like it's been a little while since an East team had the best record in the league at this point.
It has been. Have to go back to those Anthony Calvillo days in Montreal.
Yeah, last 9-2 start for the Ticats, by the way. Back in 1998, that was the arrival of Ron Lancaster, Danny McManus, and Darren Flutie as they turned that franchise around.
What happened in 1998, though?
Well, they lost the Grey Cup.
To who?
To me.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
I had some pretty talented friends that helped out.
Yeah. 1999, the last time the Cats tried to break this drought. Won a Grey Cup. Orlando Steinauer was part of it. Who would have thought they would have been able to make a run like this without Jeremiah Masoli as well? The gift, the 25-year-old from Sanger, Texas, son of a high school football coach. A lot of credit. Dane Evans is starting to write his own story in Hamilton, and it could have an unbelievable ending for him.
Well, we talked to Brandon Banks yesterday, and I asked him about similarities and differences between Dane Evans and Jeremiah Masoli, the man he's replacing. And right away he said the biggest similarity is they're both terrific leaders.
Nice job, man.
Dane Evans has really stepped nicely into that role. You know, with those 19 straight completions, looked a whole lot like Masoli with his accuracy today too.
Guy who's always wearing that headband, sporting that beard. Hairless Dane Evans. And James Wilder, clock ticking down. They'll let him run around. Might lateral it a couple of times. Final play here. And Wilder tossing it back. They'll keep tossing it back. Bethel Thompson tosses it back. This is really for show, though, because this one is over. Where's the marching band? We'll do it. Ball game over. Labor Day Classic
And it's ending
over.
And it's ending the way it started.
And the Ballard Cup is on the field. And it's ending the same way it started. There's the Ballard Trophy. Goes to the winner of the Labor Day Classic for the last 6 years now, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Laborious and victorious once more. And the first team in the 2019 season to reach 9 wins. Full value to Dane Evans. Started watching the CFL as a teenager with his dad and told his dad that maybe someday I could play up there. And guess what? His pops would be proud. Not only did he play, he threw for 442 yards. More than he ever threw as a college quarterback in Tulsa.
Phenomenal performance from him.
Time now for our Nissan Titan player of the game.
And it's a tough competition when 400 plus passing yards and 19 straight completions just gets you an honorable mention. But Braylon Addison doing a little bit of everything. 167 yards receiving, 23 yards rushing, taking a number of snaps in that Wildcat formation. 2 touchdowns for him on the day, 5 on the season, all against the Toronto Argonauts, with an assist to Dane Evans. Braylon Addison is today's Nissan Titan player of the game.
I'm going to be Simon Cowell. I would give it to both of them. That was a heck of a win for the Cats in the second half. Down 13 at one point. They rally all the way back, and the Cats are still roaring in Hamilton. Let's go down to Matthew Shinetti.
It's always good to know that Brandon Banks wants to take some of the spotlight, but you got the spotlight today, Braylon. Take us through what was going on in the locker room before you guys came back out, flipped the script, and won the Labor Day Classic.
Man, we just knew we didn't play our half. First half, we didn't play our football.